Welcome, I am the Strike Guy. This time I want to talk about understanding aim from a theoretical game mechanics level, and hopefully if I explain how it works to you, then the idea is that you can take this and improve your game with it. So this is all about improving your aim and accuracy through understanding. So if you're coming into Counter-Strike Go and you feel like you've played other shooters in the past, but a lot of your aim skill of sorts isn't really transferring, it's because CSGO has a little bit different aiming mechanics. I guess the Counter-Strike series in general, it very much tends to punish the run and gun, spray and pray game style. For example, if you're doing stuff like this, let's get the If you're just kind of running around, you can see, just look at these purple lines. Look at how just incredibly inaccurate they are. How many bullets it took me to hit this guy. I mean, my spray is all over the place. And so and then also check this out. Watch where my cursor is. The green crosshairs in the middle of my screen right now. They're about at the headshot level, but my bullets are all going above. So even though I am aiming right at this guy's head, I'm not actually hitting him, because of the way that the recoil works in this game. So let's go ahead and try and explain some of these basic concepts. There are two main things that you need to understand if you want to improve your aim in CSGO. And the first one would be the effect that movement has on your aim, and the second is the effect of your crosshair positioning. Understanding both of those will really help you guys have a lot of success in your aiming and accuracy. So first off with, let's talk about movement. So controlling your movement is very, very important. If I just run forward, you can see just how crazy, I mean, the spray is just really, really big. Even if I'm running and tap firing, you can see just my bullets are extremely inaccurate. If I run side to side, my bullets are going, I got one hit up there, the next one hit down there. They're extremely inaccurate. So the basic rule is, and this doesn't apply to every gun because some guns behave differently, but with the main two guns that you want to master would be the AK and the M4. The main rule is that if you want to shoot, you got to stand still. If you want to shoot somebody, you want to stop moving and stand still. You can see how much more accurate I can shoot when I take a little bit of a pause. You can see some of those are going off because I'm not waiting until I stop with my movement. You can see how drastic it is. That first bullet I shot too soon because I'm still moving, but then the remaining bullets, you can see just how accurate they are. So understanding movement is very important. Now, I would say in general, you just want to make sure that you stop moving. If you're running, you see this guy, you can stop. A little trick that you can do is kind of, I believe it's called strafe walking or something, but you can actually, so if you see, I'm actually, so if I'm moving right, the moment that I move left, so right, left, you can see I shoot dead accurate at that exact movement, at that exact moment where I change positioning. So left, right, right, left. So I'm pressing A, D, and the moment that I press D on my keyboard, I tap my mouse. And you can do this, there are a lot of different ways that you can do it. And also, even if you're moving, it's almost a good idea to hit a little bit of a reset while you're moving. So again, the core idea with these main two guns to improving your aim and accuracy is you always want to shoot when you are standing still. Now, in previous games, I know in Counter-Strike Counter-Strike Source, a lot of times crouching would improve your aim and accuracy, but that is not the case in CSGO. There is, if we just go ahead and spray against the wall, there's going to be no effective difference. So if I just spray, you can see the very typical AK spray pattern. If I move over a little bit and crouch, it's absolutely identical. So crouching doesn't really have much of an impact with these guns. So in general, like I said, if you really want to become effective, you just got to make sure that when you shoot the AK and the M4, you stand still. Now, like I said, there are guns that work well, something like the P90 or some of the other SMGs. You can actually shoot pretty effectively while you're on the move. But you know, again, like I said, if you really want to, you know, learn these power weapons in CSGO, the AK and the M4, standing still is really important. Okay, so next, I want to talk again about the crosshair part. So we covered the movement. Now with the crosshair, I would say there are 3 main types of shooting that you need to master and learn when to use each one. So the first one is called tap shooting. Basically, all you're doing is just you're finding a head and you're tapping once, maybe twice. You know, 1 or 2 bullets. Very, very brief movement. This is absolutely the way to go at long range. You know, at these short ranges, it doesn't really make as much sense, but when I've got a guy way over here, boom, that's all you need to do is find his head and tap. That's what I do when I come into these bot servers. I'm warming up my tap shooting. You know, I find these guys, I'm running around, I'm not looking at these guys short, trying to find a target at range, and try to immediately lock on to his head and pop just a single tap. You know, occasionally I let out 2 bullets. These bots can be a little dodgy sometimes. Find something, find their head, and 1 tap. That's the best way to do it. So again, you want to be standing still, and just 1 quick tap. And also, if you watch, it is possible to do it too quickly. So, you know, if I do it against the wall here, you can see I'm dead accurate. Every bullet is going in the exact same position. Dome that guy. You can see my second bullet got a little high, but the rest of them were exactly in the same spot. But if you do it too quickly, you can see there's a little bit more spread going on here. Still fairly accurate, but a little bit more spread going on here. So you want to give just a slight little bit of pace to your shots. Give your gun a chance to reset its recoil, and you should be good to go. So that's tap shooting. Really good for long ranges, really good for peeking. Like I said, you know, if you're coming around a corner, you can, you know, make really good use of peeking somebody. That's probably the core thing that you need to train. You need to train your muscle memory to understand what to do in that type of situation. The second type of aiming is going to be burst shooting. So this is again for more of a mid-range fight. And the idea here is that you want to just fire, you know, perhaps maybe 3, 4, 5 bullets. You know, it's a little bit of a shorter burst. You know, mostly it's down to what you're comfortable with. I would say you probably don't want to do more than 5 or 6, but you could go as low as 3 if you really want. But the main idea here is that, you know, you're giving yourself a little bit more leeway in case you don't hit the head on the first bullet. And there are a couple things to note here. Is I am starting to introduce a little bit of recoil control. So you want to start off aiming for a headshot, that's for sure. But then you want to pull down very slightly. So again, if we go up to the wall here, you can see my bullets are starting to climb up just a little bit. But it's very predictable. So the idea is that in order to manage that recoil, you just do the exact opposite of what the bullets do. So drag down very slightly. If you watch my cursor, I'm doing this. You know, trying to keep the bullets in as tight of a compact, you know, spray pattern as possible. That was a little too aggressive. That wasn't bad. You know, so you're trying to focus on controlling the recoil just a little bit. You know, there's only, you know, we haven't got, when you watch the recoil now, it's starting to split left and right. You want to get to it before that gets to that point. You know, you can, and the best way to practice this is to do exactly what I'm doing here. Is just look at a wall, start at headshot level, and try to keep your pattern, those purple dots, in as close clump as possible. You don't want them to be, you know, getting too big of a pattern. You got to learn the pacing. Not only is it that you need to drag your mouse down, but you need to do it with the right timing. If you go like this, you know, you're not helping yourself. You need to do it very slowly. There we go. That was a nice burst right there. Again, you know, these little bursts, you're giving yourself a little bit more room for a mistake, then if you're tapping, you basically get one chance to hit the shot when you tap. But if you miss, you're kind of in trouble. So you get these little short bursts, gives you a little bit more room for error. Still trying to get a headshot, but you're giving yourself a little bit more room for error. And then the last is a full-on spray. And so the basic idea here is if you're kind of running around a corner, you see somebody, and you just kind of want to fight to the death, and you can just spray them down. There really isn't a lot of time to line things up. You just kind of like, oh crud, I see somebody, he's close range, I gotta do what I can to try and take them out. Now, again, let's go ahead and just do this against the wall. It had more of a close range. If I just let the mouse go, you can see it goes up, to the right, and back to the left. Up, to the right, back to the left. So in order to counter that, when you start pulling down, right. So if it goes up, to the right, to the left, you want to go down, to the left, to the right. So down, to the left, to the right. It's a little bit more, in the same, you're not going to get it real tight, but, the basic idea is you want to get a little bit of a feel for it so that when you do end up seeing some of these guys, you can spray them down. And I would say that the biggest thing to remember in this situation is, again, watch where my green crosshair goes and where the bullets are actually hitting. So you can see right here, the bullets are hitting at about this level, but my crosshair was only right here. It started here, it went to here, but my bullets went all the way up to here. So if I want to shoot this guy, if my crosshair is down, maybe at his waist level, the bullets are going over their heads. You can see the bullets are all up in this area. So really what you need to do is pull your crosshair down, perhaps underneath their feet. So there you can see the bullets are kind of hitting these guys in the chest. There's a lot more to talk about and expertise to be gained on really mastering these recoil patterns, and you guys can take care of that in your own time. But I just want to show you some of the basics of this concept. Again, my crosshair is down at the feet. My bullets are kind of hitting them in the body. I think I got this guy. Yeah, you can see the bullets are kind of hitting in his midsection area. Now, I've shown you these three things, and I've kind of mentioned a little bit on, when you should use each one. It's really up to you. It's really up to what makes you feel comfortable. It just kind of depends on each situation. There are times when, tap shooting is probably the most accurate. If you're going for a very high skill approach, tap shooting is probably best. Burst shooting has the most amount of, forgiveness associated with it and still shooting accurately. And then spraying is kind of your last-ditch resort when you just kind of got to mow the guy down. However, there are times when you do get into a fight that's high pressure, when you do want to be bursting, giving your gun a chance to reset, still focusing on trying to stand still, you're moving around, you're strafing, so you're kind of somewhere in between a burst and a spray. There are a lot of different ways that you can adapt these different techniques to each situation. It just kind of comes down to your personal playstyle. But if you're a newer player starting out, I really would recommend that you'd really try to intentionally practice the tap shooting, and then move, because spraying is probably the least powerful in terms of, if you can really master one of the three right away, I would definitely recommend mastering the tap shooting, just because it's going to really elevate you above other lower level players. Lower level players tend to spray a lot. They favor guns like the P90. They don't understand how to control recoil, so if you can master the tap shooting, you're going to be really effective. So anyways, kind of an in-depth look at aiming and accuracy. I've got another video on my channel, which I'll link in the description, about how to set up a bot server just like this so that you can actually practice it. You can also go into deathmatch servers and just practice it. But it takes, again, you just got to build up the muscle memory. I don't know if I mentioned this yet, but the basic idea when you come into a server like this is you want to give yourself an opportunity to build your muscle memory. So when you come around a corner, you see a guy, you can immediately just lock right onto his head. It's kind of in the morning, so my aim is still a little bit rusty as of this moment, but you want to be able to build that muscle memory, so right when you see somebody, you can just flick right onto their head and lock him down. And then when you get into each situation, you're just relying on your muscle memory to control your movement and your shooting. You're not relying on, actively thinking about it. You're just relying on, the skills that you've already ingrained. So then it allows you to open up you can dedicate your mind and your thinking to the right decision making, to outplaying your opponent, to strategy, those types of things, which is really where you're going to become a next level strong Counter-Strike player. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts down below, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.